Today on the show, some interesting recent news from FloSports and what it means for the future of their involvement in dirt racing. Plus, we've got the full breakdown on chassis, engines, and shock combos for the top dirt late model teams and more. Let's go. It's Monday, April 7th. I'm Justin Fiedler. This is DIRTRACKR Daily presented by Kubota Genuine Parts. Last week on the show, we did an episode where I compiled the chassis, engine, and shock package for a bunch of the top sprint car teams. And after that, I had some requests for the same thing, but on the late model side. Unlike the sprint car teams, this information is much more readily available, and it's talked about a lot more for the top late model squad, so I doubt you're going to be super surprised by any of this information. For some comparison, it took me multiple hours of research to do the sprint car list. I was texting and DMing people. I was looking at pictures on Facebook and going back and listening to driver interviews and looking at videos, all sorts of things to try to just get any information I could. But this same late model list took maybe 45 minutes. Between driver and team websites, stickers on cars, and information on dirt, the visibility of these choices is just much more public. A lot of this information is also just part of the general dirt late model conversation that happens between the media and the announcers and the fans and the drivers and the teams themselves. So here is the full 25 driver list. Some pretty overwhelming favorites here, which again, I can't imagine you're going to be super surprised by. That includes Longhorn being the top chassis company, Bilstein the top shock company, and Clements with the most engines. Those three together, that's also the most common individual combination. So like pairing those things up is the thing you will see most often down through the list. Other chassis choices include Infinity, Rocket, BMF, and Sniper. Obviously, BMF is Corey Hedgecock's company. Sniper is sort of Team Zero-ish inspired out of Ricky Weiss's shop. The other shocks that are available besides Bilstein are Penske, Fox, and Integra. And then the engine options beyond Clements include Vic Hill, Eagle, Durham, Dickens, and Cornette. I will say that Tim McCready is a bit of a question on this list at the moment. I have him obviously on here with Rocket and Fox. But as we've talked about here recently, they are likely switching to Longhorn shortly. And I would assume a swap to Bilstein shocks as well. And we also talked about Brent Larson also making that swap. So that could be another one. He's not on this list, but that could be another one coming up. The other small outlier is Jonathan Davenport. We know that team utilizes both Clements and Cornette power plants. Kind of just depends on the racetrack and the situation. Just like on the sprint car side, though, it's clear there is no one magic combination. And you look at a couple of Longhorn guys, Pierce, Ricky Thornton, Jonathan Davenport, they do a lot of winning in Longhorns and with Bilstein, but their engines can be different on any given night. And even Longhorn, that's so often associated with Bilstein shocks, they're actually teams using Longhorns, but with other shock brands. If you look at a guy like Ethan Dotson, he's on Penske shocks, and so is Dalton Wilson. I don't have Chris Madden on this list, but he's another that's had that same combination in the past, that Longhorn-Penske combo. Although at the moment with J.R. Smith, he's actually on Bilsteins. Another combination we saw win this past weekend, also not listed, is Dale McDowell's Team Zero chassis. He runs Fox shocks with Clements Power. So there's certainly no lack of ways to go dirt late model racing with different packages of parts and pieces and still find your way to victory lane. As I did with the sprint car list, I'll post this same thing to social media soon so you guys can share it around, examine it a bit more, and let me know about some of the other combinations that we've maybe missed here. Before we move on, if you'd like to watch the Daily Show ad-free, you can now do that over at patreon.com/DIRTRACKR. That's a perk of one of the premium membership options available over there. On the DIRTRACKR Patreon, I'm posting all of the daily shows every day, both normal and ad-free versions, plus other bonus content, so check that out if you are so inclined. You could actually just go be a member on the Patreon and still get all of the same things that you get on Facebook and YouTube and all of that, and it's free to sign up. There's also a members-only chat section, so if you guys want to talk to each other, you can certainly do that. And like I said, you can join the Patreon for free, but premium members do get access to other added benefits. If you want to join, hit up patreon.com/DIRTRACKR. You can also support the show on YouTube with a channel membership that gets you some added perks for just a few dollars a month. Click the join button at youtube.com/DIRTRACKR for more information if you're curious there and how to sign up. In some business of dirt racing news, FloSports announced last week they have raised additional venture capital in a Series D round of funding. This latest injection of cash is believed to be in the $20 to $25 million range and takes Flo up to $100 million in total funding. Flow Racing, obviously one of the many verticals available for sports fans under the FloSports banner, with the company also streaming NASCAR events, wrestling, track and field, NCAA sports, hockey, and a lot more. This latest round was led by Dream Sports, which is actually a sports tech company based in India. Flow's other major investments include Causeway Media Partners, Warner Brothers Discovery, DCM Ventures, Bertelsmann Digital Media, and Fertitta Capital. If you're a UFC fan, you'll recognize that Fertitta name, as the Fertitta brothers famously bought the UFC in 2001 for $2 million and then sold it in 2016 for $4 billion. According to various reaction pieces I've seen, Flow plans to continue expansion with this funding. They're going to add even more live sports rights to their streaming platform. Something I thought that was interesting in the release from Flow is that they are now profitable. CEO Mark Floriani was quoted as saying, "Over the past 2 years, we have doubled our revenue and achieved sustained profitability." As we've seen play out on even just the dirt racing side of the business, Flow has very much been in that kind of startup mode over the last several years of move fast and break things. We saw them snatch up rights to a lot of tracks, a lot of series, and then slowly shrink down to just the properties that were successful for them. And that's common, right? You see startups do all sorts of crazy things. They try a lot of stuff, see what works, and then only hold on to the things that do actually work. The company becoming profitable is a very big deal as they push for stability. The big question going forward will be what the eventual exit looks like for these investors. Does FloSports eventually go public, or would it be an acquisition target for a much larger media entity, or even maybe private equity? Back a few weeks ago, when the High Limit Sprint Car Series announced a dramatic investment into their franchise system, with $18 million up for grabs for teams over the next several years, a lot of folks were asking where this money is going to come from. But Flow being profitable and getting this injection of cash, those are two important revelations here, especially since Flow is such a big part of High Limit. Obviously, FloSports a lot more than just racing in their partnership with High Limit, but the future for the company looks to be solidifying here pretty quickly. A couple of interesting stat notes for you today before we shut it down. First, the World of Outlaws Late Model Series has yet to have a repeat hard charger in 2025. Cody Overton, Hudson O'Neal, Drake Troutman, Dennis Erb Jr., Jonathan Davenport, Brandon Shepard, Ethan Dotson, Dustin Sorensen all have one apiece. The Outlaws also have the deepest starting feature winner of any major national tour in 2025, no matter the division. That includes sprint cars, late models, modifieds. Jonathan Davenport's 12th to the win charge at Volusia during Dirt Car Nationals is the best such charge this season. The Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series does come close. Devin Moran went 11th to the win at Alltech on February 1st. Right now, Luke is still quiet for a few more weeks, but the Outlaws are back in action starting Thursday with the Illini 100 coming up at Farmer City. This will also be the opening weekend for the Extreme Outlaw Midgets. That's the show for today. Remember, when it comes to tuning into the daily, you have a lot of options for where to find these episodes. They're available on YouTube and Facebook and Spotify in video form. You can also listen via Spotify. YouTube has its own podcast feature, and then all of the major podcast platforms. That includes Apple and iHeartRadio. And you can also read the show over at DIRTRACKR.com/daily, as full transcripts are available there for each show. Hope you guys have a great Monday out there. We will see you right back here tomorrow.